Hey everybody, welcome to the live stream. Hope you're doing okay. Another storm, like another big one for the Bay Area within the past, what, like week? Has it been a week since New Year's Eve? Not even. Two big ones back to back. I'm going to let the stream here take some time to load up the audience. We'll do some Q&A. Man, even the signal here from the live shot over San Francisco is having some issues. Let's have a look at the different view here. Towards Alcatraz. The Golden Gate is out there somewhere, by the way. Now we're kind of losing that one, too. All right, let's go back to the skyline. Let's take a look at downtown. It's the Salesforce building, the Grand Hyatt over there. Oh, that one's having trouble, too. Sutro Tower is off in the distance. Man, you can't even see it with all that fog. Well, not fog. That's precipitation. How are we looking right now up in Truckee? Well, it looks like the snowplow has done its work. They've had a dumping up there. Looks like they're about to get more. Yeah, some Q&A is coming your way in just a little bit here. Just kind of wanted to start like this, and let's take a look at Truckee Airport. Oh my goodness. I don't think the runway is cleared over there. Is it? It's off to the left, off in the distance there. Oh, it looks like they're clearing it right now. Look at that. There it is. Clearing off the runway at Truckee. Conversely, here's what Kauai looks like right now. Yeah. Quite the contrast. All right, let's show you the multi-view if I could load this here. We're wet everywhere. From the Bay Bridge, it looks like the toll plaza's got a little bit of a delay getting on the bridge westbound. The San Francisco camera, man, it can't even hold a signal there. Looks very wet going eastbound, back towards the East Bay. San Jose's obviously wet. Good to see no flooding out there, though. And then Walnut Creek, that is where 24 meets 680. I think that's 24 eastbound on the bottom, on the left, and then 24 westbound on the top. So we're just past noon here. I hope everybody's doing okay. I said that before, but I really mean it. These storms are unprecedented. And while the rest of the country, might be able to better deal with what we're going through right now, they're used to hurricanes and stuff. I mean, we're earthquake country. We can deal with that. We've built our infrastructure around that. So it is a bit different when we get this much rain this fast. Yeah, we're live. I had to put that up on the screen. How about we take a look at, Yosemite right now. Half Dome is off in the distance, but you can't even see it. This is a live look at Yosemite. That is definitely a winter wonderland. I think I have a shot here of Yosemite Falls, but you know what? I'll tell you right now. Yeah, you can't see it. The snow is falling too fast. Are we able to take a look at Monterey? Hard to tell right there how much rain you're actually getting over the ocean. That's a camera pointing out at it. How about Big Sur? Can we pull up the... Whoa, not much to see there. That looks to be heavy rain moving in. Let me see what other cameras I have here at my disposal. Sacramento, where you at? That's Highway 5 running through downtown right there. I think we've also got some Tahoe cameras here to look at. Well, that one seems to be offline. Same thing with that one. Are there any Tahoe cameras to look at? Here we go. Highway 50 at Ski Run. That looks thick, and they're only going to get a lot more snow in the very near future. Kings Beach. Snow is definitely falling. All right, let's bring it back a little closer to home. Just really having issues with these San Francisco cameras. Anyway, it is that time to probably get into the live chat. Let's make sure that we're actually still streaming here. As of this morning, there was no internet. So there was that. This was not going to be possible. I was just actually making some videos for other YouTube channels, the production channel, Home Studio Pro, check that out, or the aviation channel. I was in here and I decided, you know what, it's time for a little live stream Q&A style. So let's get to that. Give me 1 second to adjust here. Oh, I know another thing I should show you. Yeah, why don't we do that? Let's take a look at the situation at hand outside. Can we do a little bit of that? Yes, we can. Okay. Oh my goodness, here's what we're up against. Yeah, that is still sitting out here. This is mostly wind, but obviously it deals with pressure gradients and the storm system that's out there. You can see here the Bay Area where we're at. Generally not in the thick of it right now. It did seem like maybe this passed within the last hour. Out here in the East Bay, it was dumping rain. Let me see if I can pull up the weather radar. Yeah, there you go. There's a good example of that. I wonder if I can animate this. Just thinking about it. There we go. Gives you a good idea. Sacramento is about to get hit pretty hard right now. So if you're in Sac, be safe, everybody. I know there's a lot of waterways and rivers and a lot of the delta flowing through here. So I just hope everybody is going to be good. There's going to be a lot of snow melt and runoff in the next couple months with all these big storms. But I mean, on one hand we need it, but on another hand, we need it in safe amounts over longer periods of time instead of like all literally in 2 days. All right. Now, come back here, set that up. It's a lot going on when it's a one-man operation here. All right, let's jump into the chat here. Charles, how is the weather for the Bay Area? Unprecedented. Excuse me. That's probably the best way to put it. Unprecedented. The neighborhood where I live and the creeks that are around it, from what people say that have lived here the entire time, they've never seen it like this. And I'm sure that, over some years I've seen it get pretty high. I've seen a flood stage, but as many times as we've seen it and as high as we've seen it, definitely not as much. I mean, I really do like the music, but I think I'll fade it out. Okay. Sorry about that. Takes a second for my ears to adjust. Colby, hello. Vince, hello to you. RJ, good afternoon to you as well. Saludos. Yes, we do need the rain. We need it, but we need it in safe amounts. Zach, good to see you. Nice, clear RDS. Laura, hello from Chico. I hope you're doing all right up in Chico. Toronto has no snow and it's spring weather. Well, look, you get your fair share of weather out there too. It's not to complain or compare or contrast, just that we are not maybe necessarily used to this or completely prepared for this. Oh, the Capitola Pier destroyed. That's not good. What's the word on FanFest, if any? David, honestly, I have not heard much. Typically late January, early February thing, so maybe we're right in the range of finding that out. I've not heard anything, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. I've just not really inquired. Happy 23 to you too, Jesus. Appreciate you being here. Hey, Brody, how you doing? Happy New Year's. Hopefully the Oakland A's day. Well, I'm not anticipating anything here on the 5th of January. Are you? Do you know something? Bring on spring training. You know what's amazing, RJ, is that by the time next month when I go down there, we'll be talking about sunscreen and wearing shorts and sweating. And it'll have nothing to do with the type of weather that we're experiencing right now. It'll be quite the contrast this year from January to February, at least if you're going down there. And based on all the rain that we've had. And it was a cold December here, honestly, in the Bay Area too. And yeah, Buffalo, this is nothing like what Buffalo, New York went through a couple weeks ago. They're dealing with severe weather and snow situations and being, locked in your house on purpose, and driving was off limits. So this is not it. You wanted rain, you got it. Yeah, no, that's understood, Oscar. And that's getting the rain, capturing the rain, filling the reservoirs, all extremely important. But it's also like saying, like, I guess if I wanted $5 million, I would want it all at once. Maybe that's a bad that's a bad reference. Maybe it would be better accepted if it were paid out in installments. Like, hey, here's $100,000, here's another $100,000. It could be more easily moved and stored instead of like here it is all in one blast, right? Like you wouldn't want to water your garden with a fire hose, would you? Probably not. The garden hose will do. Zach would like me to do traffic reports for fun. Well, Zach, maybe I'll do them for work at one point. We'll see where my career goes. Felix, good to see you. Vince is in San Jose. Love the rain. Fill up the lakes and reservoirs. Yeah, I do too. But I know people whose houses have been flooded. So long as they're safe. I also saw that last night in Sonoma County there was a death of an infant in a tree. I think that's the other scary thing about this storm. The ground is already so wet, and then to have trees of huge heights, and they've been well rooted for years, but to have them in the high winds topple over, hit a house, end a life like we heard about last night, unbelievably sad. So yes, on one side of it, of course we need it, but let's keep everybody safe in the process of getting it. I Shift Focus. That's an interesting name. Just the emojis, huh? The baseball and the elephant. Missed the rest of my previous stream because I had to deal with some stuff. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Felix. I hope it was okay, and I hope you're dealing with it, made it better. When's the last time you heard the term bomb cyclone being used for Bay Area weather? Yeah, no, not at all. I think the biggest weather day before this was probably that August and September time of 2020, when mid-August we had the big thunderstorm that lasted most of a morning and afternoon. Usually, right, it's a couple strikes and that's it. But it was all morning, all afternoon. Was that August 15th, 16th or so of 2020? And then because of it, right, fires started. And then by September, early September, we had the Orange Day. Was that September 7th or 8th or 9th? That was trippy. The sun never came out that day. They played a night baseball game at the Coliseum, but they took batting practice with the lights on. When did they ever take batting practice with the lights on at the Coliseum? Because it was so orange. So this is probably the biggest eerie/scary weather event since then. Never heard of one. Sounds serious. So and maybe even this storm, I don't know if it's fully lived up to the expectations or the predictions, but the last one was big. Where I'm at, we had almost 6 inches of rain in 30-something hours. That's a lot. Felix says, I swear I get super lucky where I am in my part of Fremont. Only thing, my fence has been blown over by high winds, but that was before the bomb cyclone. Well, and it's a number of things. It's flooding, it's landslides, mudslides, it's getting around safe, driving on the roads. All of us have, things we need to do. Just make sure you do them safely. There's this song by Samsa and MXM Tune named So Mean that basically explains how this weather makes everyone feel currently. Okay, well, Raccoon, I'll be searching that one maybe as soon as I'm done with this. And the weather, right? It's already gloomy enough to have you feeling, whatever, however people feel. But at the same respect, when you're also concerned for safety and you don't know how your house is going to turn out, and it puts everybody on edge. There's no question. I was talking to somebody who was in Florida yesterday on the phone, and the first question was, "How you doing?" Well, I don't really know how to answer that right now. Not 100% great. It hasn't been super pouring here, I don't think, and the winds have subsided. Yeah, and again, I think this one is kind of coming in waves. It hasn't been the big, oh my gosh, I can't believe how long this is going. There have been some spurts where it was, last night I went out to go pick up dinner. It was sheets of water. It wasn't even raining. It was pouring water. As long as there's no repeat of the Oroville Dam nearly breaking 5 to 6 years ago, all good. I do remember that. USA 1, Sweden nothing after 20. All the World Juniors. Stay safe in the Bay. Marty, I appreciate that update. Have I ever done play-by-play or color commentary for a sports team? Newport? No, I have not. I have not. Not on purpose. Like, I've not avoided it. Definitely not had the opportunity. I might be really bad at it. Probably am. Probably really bad at it. I'm probably really bad at everything, but to what extent? And every sports play-by-play is so different. Like, think about the cadence of football, for example. There's a play that could last anywhere from 1 to 3 to 5 seconds to 12 seconds maybe. And then there's a good 35 seconds of replays and processing it and setting up for the next play, talking about, the overall trends and trajectory. But like, that's a weird cadence, like start, stop, versus basketball, which is kind of like flow, 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 pause. There's a foul. We'll replay that. Substitution. It's a couple minutes, usually a couple minutes of action or a minute or two of action, followed by a brief pause, followed by maybe some free throws. Anyway, it's a different cadence, I think you understand, versus baseball, which is a lot of slow, methodical conversation. You don't even need to really be entirely focused on the action. You can have a conversation. Oh, look, there's a base hit by Jones to right field. Simple as that. You can kind of throw it in. Versus hockey, right, which is the only sport which has live substitutions during gameplay. Like the players literally just changed even while the same play was happening. So you got to be really super focused and timely in the delivery of your call, what's important. It's not really conversational. And that's what makes Randy Hahn and all the people he's ever worked with, Drew and Brett and Bakes over the years, so good. And even before that, so good because it's hard to weave in conversation into constant action and to have and show a little personality, which people want. But there's so much action in between. So I know that's not what you asked, but I'm just saying that I guess it would really matter if I tried which sport I would jump into, right? Because and some people are really good. Like you love them as a basketball announcer, but you don't like them as a baseball announcer, or they're good at hockey, but not so good at football. And some people, some announcers, you've heard them, they're good at pretty much everything they do. So that's another level and layer of play-by-play. Just some thoughts on it. Richard, you know what? I've got a video on this coming out, so I don't want to remake it here. But I do have the A's Next Wave video set to go. And I think just to tease it a little bit, there's a lot of players that probably won't start this year at the big league level, but could very likely be up in the show, halfway through the season. I don't think there's any question about that. So there are a number of names that, again, you'll want to keep an eye on their minor league progress, maybe in the first half of the season, because I do think their big league debuts are coming. Is Twitter mission ever going to happen again? For hockey games, Zach, probably not. I think we've gotten too far away from that. Our resources and our abilities and our priorities have all shifted a little bit. So to be perfectly honest, I don't know that we'll be seeing that again soon. Maybe something different, probably something different or similar, but not exactly that. Sharks Fangirl, hello. Good to have you here. Silver lining, the lightning around Placerville wasn't dry. We all know what happened the last time the Bay Area, went through that rare period of dry lightning. That's what I was talking about in August of 2020. That dry lightning caused all those fires. Jason, no, the power did not go out here, but I know a lot of our neighbors had that issue. A lot of people we've been talking to have had their power go out. Our internet went out, I guess at some point last night, and for most of this morning, but 10 o'clock, back on. So all good. Happy New Year. KLR OVAT. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what that is, but Happy New Year to you too. Installments, but what about I don't know. Maybe that's a conversation. A's fans are legit riding the wave. That was wasn't that 2021, Jason? We got to let that go. Like, we already had 22. We were riding the wave in 21. Zach, what's it like working with Tara Sloan? You know what? I don't know that I've actually worked tandem with her. I think she's going to be on our show. if I'm not mistaken, on Saturday at SAP. She's been on the show just a little bit. I more so got to know her in the course of the last handful of months. And I've known her work for a long time. So for us to have somebody like that, in San Jose with that background, it's kind of a get. It's like one of those get situations. You don't come across that get opportunity to add to your team very often. So pretty excited about that. But again, we just haven't. I think the question is, what's it like to know her? Yeah, it's great to know her, but we haven't had that like working aspect happen yet. I saw huge trees, roots out of the ground, completely fallen over. Yeah, that's the unrooting of trees. And I'm telling you, I think the wind of this storm might be just as bad or more dangerous than the actual precipitation of it. Obviously, things getting wet and slippery and flooded are not good, but the wind is equally dangerous. So speaking of the cadence and flow of a game, the great Bill King did it the best. David, that's a brilliant point you make, right? What if Bill King was just really good? And some people will say, hey, he was the best at basketball. He was okay at football, and he was okay at baseball, but he was really good at basketball. Some people think that. I've heard that described of him, and I'm not here to agree with that or disagree, but yeah, some people have their preference. But to your point, he was really good at everything. He might have been the best at one thing or another, but he was also really good at everything. What sport is my favorite? I can't even, which arm is my favorite? I can't necessarily go that far with it. I really can't. I like baseball in the summer. I like hockey in the winter. I played a lot of basketball. Always liked that growing up. To be perfectly honest, never played football. Have done the least probably coverage of it in my career. Certainly pay attention to it. Who wouldn't? But it's all in perspective. So I can't say there's an ultimate favorite, but I have different preferences, and it does seem like the time of year, kind of plays to the season at hand. Gord Miller, you're a big Gord Miller fan. All right, Marty. Heard this was the second most rainiest day in the past 174 years. Think about that. The second rainiest day in 174 years. Am I going to have to do some auto-tune here on the live stream? Wasn't the 95 storm a lot worse with a bad sewer system? Yeah, there was the flood that ended in the Guadalupe River causing downtown to flood. Yeah, the Sharks game was canceled. That's right. So I think it's, and Fangirl, you make a great point. It's just the infrastructure of different points of the Bay Area are either set up for this or not set up for this. Like, you'd like to think that overall we prioritize build it for an earthquake. That's what we do around here. Plan for an earthquake or occasionally, unfortunately nowadays, a wildfire. How do you mitigate those things? But to do all that and then say, well, now you're going to get a flood. You're going to get so much rain that all the creeks and stuff flood. It's hard to be prepared for all of those things at once. In the Midwest, you probably get a hurricane or a tornado, or in the South, you might get a hurricane. But all that plus an earthquake plus a wildfire, it's a lot. Felix said, don't know if you saw my question, but curious on my take. How hard is it for meteorologists to accurately predict the weather or a weather event? That's a great question, Felix. I know a little bit about this, probably more than most, because of my background in aviation, and obviously weather is a huge part of flying, and the prediction of weather is equal to the actual interpretation of what's happening right now. Like, some landings may not be safe based on visibility or wind conditions or the weather pattern moving in, but also, to your point, how do you accurately predict 15 years, even 10 to 5 years? They have so much more technology at their disposal now than ever. And that's like with everything else in life, right? The technology you have allows you to do more. It allows you to understand more and record it and interpret it, and even weather cameras and data that's instantly transmitted. There's no delay. So I would say that the accuracy is getting better, but at the same respect, what are we asking weather people to do? Like, for it to generally know, like an app on your phone to tell you, hey, it's going to rain in 5 minutes. That is, to me, That's such a luxury that is unprecedented. That would be unheard of, 20 years ago. Give me a second here. Sorry, I had to clear the frog out of the throat. It's amazing what they're able to do. That being said, we live in such a precision world that we expect, we need to know the minute it's going to start raining, how much it's going to rain. Will I be able to do this? It's crazy to think that we've come so far and so close to that level of accuracy, but to understand that it's never going to be spot on. And some days, even if they can say this storm will bring 1.5 inches of rain in 24 hours, that's pretty good. The models they have, what they can see off the coast. Obviously, it's a little bit different here in California because there's a huge water mass before the giant land mass that the rest of the country has to try and predict the weather that they're about to get. So, not easy, made easier by technology. It is scientific, but not 100% of science. I appreciate everybody that covers meteorology and that knows the fundamentals. They know pretty much everything and why it happens and how it happens, but how it plays out is always just a little bit different. Zach wondering if we've ever planned on bringing Joe Thornton on the pregame show. We've talked about it. I'm not sure if Joe was formally invited ever. It's been loosely discussed, so hopefully that can be the case. I've seen him at the rink. I saw him at a game a couple games ago. Hey, Brad. I feel like I said that one pretty close. Have you ever flown a helicopter? I have not. I've flown a blimp. Helicopter, there's a lot going on there. If people say you're crazy to fly a plane, you're twice as crazy to fly a helicopter. They sample 100 similar events for probability, so it can be tricky. That's another thing, RJ, about prediction of weather. It's not just the analysis of what you have, it's the comparison, it's the models, right? They talk about the different models they use to form a forecast. So, again, I appreciate that we've got it this far. To think we need to nail it 100% of the time every time is impossible. How much do we want to think Mother Nature is getting more and more upset with us, what us humans are doing to planet Earth? I mean, again, when you start seeing things happening that have never happened, or they used to happen once a decade and now they happen once a year, there's like, how do you not start being curious about that at the very least? Right? At the very least, how do you not be curious about that? All right. I think we might be Marley Loves Film. Hello. I love the fact that you're here. Will we ever see a Brody Brazil flyover at an A's game? I mean, if somebody wants to set that up, I will gladly do it. I don't know if it's going to be the most impressive one. I don't have my F-18 type rating yet, but we could figure something out. All right, let me see. Can I put up? Sorry, I didn't think this out before I started doing it. Okay, let me try and bring up the live cameras just one more time. We'll take a look outside. See how things are doing. Just one more time here. So here is a look at San Francisco. Salesforce building on the left. I believe this is from the Mark Hopkins Hotel. The video provided by HD on Tap for a lot of these cameras, so check them out, HD on Tap. A lot of great live camera feeds across the country. Here's a look west at Sutro Tower off in the distance. Kind of see where Market Street runs there. Twin Peaks. So definitely raining again in San Francisco. Here's a view also out west, but to the northwest. There's Tiburon out there. You can't really see. Oh, now you definitely can't see it. Alcatraz in the near distance in the middle of the bay. It is just gloomy out there. Let's go back up to Truckee. Calm right now. Looks like there is some type of snow coming down. Some sleet or rain or snow. It's spitting up there. Let's go live to Kauai. Isn't this what you really want to see? Wow, soak that in for a second. It's like 10:34 in the morning out there. That is not bad. Shoot. You know what? I'm trying to pull up different views here of Hawaii. They're not all coming up as I wished. Little look at Monterey. It's definitely coming down now. Looks like that's water dripping from like a balcony or a ledge right in front of the camera, but you can tell like it's coming down good there right now. All right, let's see what else we have here. Man, Lake Tahoe is looking like Antarctica right now. Those are big chunks of ice out there. I actually don't even know where this particular camera is. Oh, I think it's on South Shore, yeah. This one kind of moves around, but look at all that ice out there. My goodness. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Let's go back up to Sacramento. Still pretty wet up there. That's Highway 5 through downtown. I thought we had some more cameras here. Maybe I do have some more camera options for you. So, for example, here is from the Garwoods restaurant. It's a good look. Oh, man. Look at those waves. Look at that wind. Oof. That looks pretty blustery. That is legit blustery right there. Those flags are hanging on for their lives at the end of that pier right now. How's the parking lot doing? You can tell how long a car has been there based on how much snow is built up around it. Man, that is not fun driving right there at all. Nobody on the patio? What? Are you kidding me? It'd be such a perfect day for that. All right, let's take a look at the... I think I have some cameras here on the Palisades Resort. Although, yeah, there we go. We can take a look at that. Yep, that's an interesting day to go skiing. You're getting the freshest powder possible, that's for sure. Let's see where this camera's going to stop over there. Oh, it's actually a decent amount of people skiing out there and snowboarding today. What a day, though, to be up there. Now, if it got windy or, like, blizzardish type conditions, I think I'd call it a day. Like, I don't really know I want to be on that chairlift. During that, I saw a video the other day of the chairlift just rocking around. It was crazy. Doesn't look like it's that windy there. I'm just looking at trees and such. Boy, this camera's all over the place. What are you trying? I guess that's supposed to be the top of that lift? Can't even see it up there. Whoa! Didn't expect that to float on by. See if I have any more Tahoe cameras we can look at here. Here's another one for you. This is Highway 50, I think. Making a right turn towards the Keys over there. Yeah, that's where that one's at. It's definitely coming down right now. Have to keep those roads clear. Look at that Toyota pulling off to the right over there. Uh-oh. Where are you going? Where are you going? Were you pulling over? Uh-oh, did they just hit each other? What's going on? Oh, they're pulling... I see why they're pulling over now. Now it makes sense. They heard the sirens of that fire engine. Now everybody pulled over. Now I got it. I got it. You could do a lot. You could do a lot of watching on these cameras and see some interesting things for sure. All right, we'll look at a couple more here. And then... oh, how about this? A little closer to home. How are the elephants at the Oakland Zoo doing right now? Hi, buddy. Yeah, the Oakland Zoo has been closed. I feel terrible for them. They've been closed now since... I guess since New Year's Eve. And they're closed through like the 17th of January. They had a huge sinkhole at one of the entrances to the zoo, so cars can't even really get into one entrance, and they had to close it down. They had to do these repairs. Fortunately, all the animals are okay, but I'm looking at all that mud right there and just... Man, you do not want... You know, where it's located up in the hills, you do not want something catastrophic to happen. the zoo is such a precious place. Obviously for animals, it's their home, but also for people to visit, so hope everything's okay up there. All right, you want a total change of scenery? Soak this in for a second. Now you're in Hawaii. You're on the Big Island. Mauna Kea. There you go. Video's a little choppy, but I think you get the point. Let's do the ultimate weather report. Let's make sure the camera loads here. Come on. There we go. Are you ready for this? Let's go to space. You're literally looking at space right now. This is from the International Space Station, which at this point is kind of over the South Pacific. It's tracked there on the bottom left of the screen, so it's going to go all the way across the Pacific. Here's what it looks like literally live right now from the space station. Where else can you get that on YouTube? Actually, I take it back. There's probably a bunch of channels that do this, but if I can do it, they can do it. Oh, I see here, Coyote? Please explain the instant camera feeds. So cool. You know, I will. I will at some point. I will do a video on how I make this happen. Nate Doggy, when will we see you as a guest on the Pat McAfee show? Probably never. Probably never. And Caker Girl says, gotta love the intense music. Well, yeah, you know, it's production value. I'm just trying to up the production value. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm going to call it a live stream. And I just want to say, you know, be safe out there. These are crazy and unprecedented circumstances. It's not something we're all used to or prepared for sure. So be smart. Think things over, make good decisions, and I will see you again soon, all right? Take care, everybody.